Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first premiere episode ever of the Far From Pro podcast. I am your host, Evan Walsh, and this is my co-host, Joseph Meyer. We are here to take you on an adventure where, whether you're going to work, whether you're at school, whether you're in church, we do not care as long as you're listening to this podcast. And if you don't think we're dedicated, I am wearing an Xbox headset right now. For those of you watching on YouTube, I look like a fool. And if you are on the audio, I suggest you go to the YouTube to see how much of a fool I look like right now. Okay? We're having some technical difficulties over here at Evan Walsh Enterprises. That is fine. We do it for the people, the Far From Pro podcast listeners. Okay? So, to get this show started, Joseph, what do we got going? We got a full action-packed episode today.
We do. We got a lot. Big sports week. We're going to start it off with a little segment I like to call Who's Hot and Who's Not. Then we're going to get into some stories from the week, and then finish it off with a little top 3 draft action. Plenty of laughs along the way. You know, first I want to make sure to shout out my good friend Evan here. Without his boldness, we might not be here right now. Evan, you want to give me a little explanation of how this all came about?
That was a phenomenal question. So I think about months and months ago, I've sort of realized I wanted to start a podcast. It's been a dream of mine. And I was just like, you know what? It's time to take action. Time to really make it happen. And so I'm sort of, thinking, how am I going to get things going? How am I going to make it? How am I get so that everyone wants to listen to me? Who's going to be on my side? Who can help me out? And I just couldn't get over that speech you gave us when we graduated. For those of you who did not graduate from Centennial or don't know what I'm talking about, this man right here gave one of the most phenomenal goodbye speeches ever. All right. And it really touched my heart. And it was one of those things where I couldn't forget it. And I also remember him talking about how he wanted to be on sports radio during that speech. And I was like, well, this is perfect. He's a great talker. He connects with me well. I can hit him up. Bradley Short, shout out Bradley Short, friends of us both, probably listening to this pod, shout out. He gave me Joseph's number, his contact info. I texted him, told him, I'm going to give you one night. Think about it. Sleep on it. Tell me if you want to do it. I gave him my pitch, gave him my spiel. And what do you know? We're here. We're clearly here. Said yes. And I think I told him that right after he said yes, I said, this is going to be the best decision you ever made in your entire life. No doubt. And I really think it is. I think once you see the payout, I really believe this will be the best decision you ever made. No doubt.
So imagine my confusion. I'm sitting at a Nebraska basketball game, right? Got to rep the Huskers. And I get a call from a number that I have no idea. I'm like, whatever. And it's probably spam call. Put my phone in my pocket. About 20 minutes later, I look down. It's Evan Walsh. I'm like, this is the last person I would expect to be calling me right now. And so he's like, give me a call. I'm like, what on earth could this be about? So we get in the car on the way home. I'm with some buddies, and I ring Evan, and he gives me probably one of the funniest and best pitches to start a podcast that anyone has ever given in the history of podcast pitches. And I was sold, gave it some thought, like he said. And now here we are, a couple weeks later. We're doing this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I really believe we got something special brewing in this podcast. And you know what? We're not just a two-man crew here. Mm-mm. For the people who are listening, you are just as involved and just as into this as we are. All right. It really touched my heart when I announced that this podcast was coming. The friends that reached out, the people that contacted and said they were excited to listen. I just can't wait to deliver them every week. We got something for you. We're gonna get something for you to listen to every week because that's what this world needs. They need more sports comedy podcasts like this one, and I think this is really gonna change the game. I really believe it. So, without further ado, Joseph, let's get into our segments here. Shout out to all of our accounts. We got TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. We need you to subscribe and follow all of them. We will have clips, funny daily moments, and I really think that it will keep you updated on what is going on in our lives, when we're going to be posting, and how we're going to be doing this. I plan on posting at least once a week, possibly 2. We're going to be getting guests on here. We're going to have segments. This is going to be something that's really going to change things, change the world. I'm excited. Make sure you go follow those accounts. And Joseph, get us started into these segments.
All right, first, we've got who's hot and who is not.
Here we go.
My who is hot, and this man has been hot, to say the least. The star, the man himself, Bulls player, DeMar DeRozan.
Wow.
Let me
Talk
tell
to
you.
me, Joe.
Let me tell you a little bit about this man. All right, Bulls are on a 7-game winning streak. Okay, coming into the year, not a favorite in the East, not a favorite in the East Conference. Bulls 7-game winning streak, top of the Eastern Conference in the standings. 35 points on 50% shooting or better in 7 straight games. That is insane. He's shooting around 55% from the field, 42% from behind the arc, from 3 in fourth quarters just this season. I mean, this man's on a tear. I mean, you look at MVP conversation, the Bulls, not expected to be there. This man is literally doing everything he can to put them in that conversation at the top of the East. He's my hot for the week.
That is a phenomenal pick. And I actually couldn't agree more. The Bulls, when DeMar DeRozan got traded there, the amount of speculation with Caruso and Lonzo going there, Levine, with already being the all-star caliber player he was, and then having all of them come together as one. And then they traded for Vucevic. There was a lot of speculation about this Bulls team, but I think the way that DeMar is DeMar is the dude is gross. He is like the last person you want to run into in a one-on-one isolation situation. I mean, he can do it all. The dude is a freaking freak of nature, but I couldn't agree more. That's a phenomenal pick. I'm going to one-up you with one of my hots. One of my hots of the week.
All right, let's see it.
And I think this was sort of expected, and I think people who knew basketball sort of knew this was going to happen. My hot for the week is the 76er duo of Harden and Embiid. I don't know if any of you watched that beatdown, that murder of what they put on display last night against the Minnesota Timberwolves on Friday, but oh my God. The pick and roll game. Here's the deal. When a guy comes in at a press conference after the game and goes, literally says, I've never felt that wide open in my life, and he's averaging 30 points a game. We are the league's screwed. It's going to be a long, long year for anybody who tries to mess with those two. And there were people speculating, well, they both are ball heavy players. They're not going to work together. Bullshit, bro. Have we not seen this before? I literally said this. Have we not seen a 6'5" ball heavy shooting guard and a 7-foot ball heavy center before? When was the last time we saw that, Joseph? In the NBA?
Probably a long time ago. I would say.
No. What duo, though? There's one duo in specific that won 3 championships and was phenomenal together.
Are you talking about Kobe and Shaq right now?
I'm talking about Kobe and Shaq right now.
No shot, dude.
I'm not putting out, here's the deal. I'm not putting them at the same level. Not yet, at least. But I'm just saying we've seen this before, and we can't act like that this isn't possible. It's not going to work, because I think it will, and I think those two are just unbelievable together, and I see nothing but potential. And
all right.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it a lot. You talked about his debut last night. 27, 12 assists, and 8 rebounds. That's insane in a debut.
Yeah. Try guarding that. Come on. Come on. What are we doing here?
133 to 102, dude. Against a Timberwolves team that has been playing better than usual, but still, that's an impressive.
No, I will give it to the Timberwolves. They had an awful shooting night. Anthony Edwards had 4 points in the third quarter with 5 minutes left. They had an awful shooting night. They couldn't get anything defensively going to stop Embiid and Harden, which is expected. Their first game together, God knows what's going to happen. So I understood what was happening, but at the same time, they just looked good. I watched them, they just looked good. They looked good out there. It looked natural. It looked like when they were playing, they were having fun. And then you saw Embiid and Harden on the sidelines talking to each other, disgusting. It is. It gets my blood going, because it's these guys could take over the league if they want to. They really could.
You go ahead and give your not for the week. Who's not hot? I think you have some good thoughts about this one.
It pains me to know that there is a man roaming these streets who should probably be arrested. But that's nonetheless. You want to talk about a knot? A scumbag? A no-good liar? My knot is Aaron Rodgers. And I am selling him in the Green Bay Packers organization completely. You want to talk about...
Back-to-back MVP, man.
You want to talk about a fucking guy. Listen to here. A fucking guy. He had the whole world riding him all offseason. Where's he going? What's he doing? What's his next plan? He had all the media. This sick bastard had the audacity to walk up in front of people, walk in front of a crowd, lie about being vaccinated. I'm immunized. Shut your mouth, Aaron Rodgers. First off. And second off, we're sitting here, and here's the most messed up part. He is a phenomenal regular season player.
Yeah,
but then you have
doubt.
the number one offense, the number one wide receiver. You have home field advantage. You literally got smoked by this team. And then the NFC divisional round comes around, and you put up 10 fucking points, and you're the number one
Hey, dude,
offense?
the Niners, baby.
Are we serious? And then it blows my mind. Blows my mind. And this Packers organization, after all the bullshit of one championship, after 15 years of having a Hall of Fame quarterback, one NFL Super Bowl, after God knows how many times that guy's been in the NFC Championship, in the playoffs, after all that, this Packers organization is willing to make him the highest paid player in the NFL? After all that? This guy is unreal. I've never seen anything like it. He gets whatever he wants. He gets all the money. He gets all the praise. If the Packers do this and they keep Dante Adams and Aaron Rodgers, and he goes through another season of making them 15-1 and then losing in the divisional at home, if that happens again, he's done. He's retired. He's out of the league. I'm not letting him play anymore. I wouldn't do it. I'd be like, you're done. I'd seriously be like, you're done.
But you know the Packers will bring him back no matter what.
That's the problem. It terrifies me. It just terrifies me. And you know what? I'm going to top that. I'm going to add another knot before you go.
Another knot. You said you were going on a rant. Are we going on another rant here? Okay.
It's the Winter Olympics. No one gives a fuck, bro. Like, here's the deal. They canceled hockey. Well, there goes 99.9% of your viewership. And then I'm looking at the sporting events. Like, are we serious? Some of these sports, there's like 100 people that play in the world. Is it really a gold medal for you to show up to Beijing and like do this? There's a sport called skeleton. Literally called skeleton.
Yeah. Great sport, dude. Great sport.
What are we doing?
I don't know what it is.
And I'm like, it's such a joke. If there's no hockey, it's like, what are we doing? And again, if you trained all your life to play these sports, I want you to go win. I wish nothing but the best for you. I hope you get the gold. But what are we doing, dude? Like, no, like, come on. Never ever. It's just,
So are you a Summer Olympics guy then? Or do you just not an Olympics guy?
I'm not really an Olympics guy in general. Like, I mean, I will watch the Olympics if it's on, and like, it is what it is. But like, the Winter Olympics have become such a fucking joke. I would never turn on my TV and watch the Winter Olympics. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I watched it. I think I maybe watched 10 minutes of it.
It's just, and then when they were like, well, no pro hockey players, it's like, okay, well, how about you just not have the Olympics then? Because no one's going to watch. It's like, God, what are we doing?
Speaking of other countries, Evan, my not hot for the week has to involve one of the teams that played in the Winter Olympics, and more specifically, dudes over the age of 18. I don't know if you've heard this. There's a little bit of a conflict going on in Ukraine and Russia, and obviously we joke about it.
A little bit.
Serious situation. But like seriously, when we talk about sports, we like to have fun. We talk about sports. We like to distract from normal life. It's hard to talk about sports and joke about stuff when serious stuff's going on in the world. But I do think sometimes that it's good to talk about other things, and have fun when it's not looking great in the world at the moment, especially if you're over 18. I don't actually think there's going to be a draft, but a lot of people are worried about it. It's still important that we have fun, because we got to keep it like that. I think this is a good transition into another thing that is not so hot, and this is my first story that I wanted to talk about for the week. It's the MLB. I mean, I enjoy the game of baseball. I don't watch every game. I like going to games, a lot of fun. I watch the playoffs. Not my favorite sport, just because there's so many games and so much to watch. There are a lot of people who do really, really enjoy baseball. Obviously, it's part of the older generation. It's struggling, I think, a little bit with the younger generation with sports that are getting more popular for younger generations, hockey and soccer and stuff, and esports. But, they have a deadline to come to an agreement by February 28th. If they don't get it done, the regular season is going to be delayed. They still have to have 4 weeks of spring training. If that regular season is delayed, we're getting into another shortened season. How long is this going to be shortened? The 2020 season was shortened and it was kind of a mess. Like, everybody made the playoffs. I think the sport's not necessarily dying, but if they go especially if they have a whole year of a lockout season, I mean, if we don't have baseball for another year, I think they're going to really, really struggle to compete with some of these bigger sports. Look what basketball and football are doing this year, how big they are getting. If baseball doesn't play for a whole year and nobody's talking about baseball all year, it's going to be hard to compete when they come back again. So I really hope that they can figure out a deal, because I like having baseball to watch in the summer. It's a fun summer pastime activity, but they need to get it together. Otherwise, they're going to struggle to bring in an audience when they do eventually come back.
And I want to top on your point when you were talking about the world doesn't need another year away from baseball, because you couldn't be more spot on when you're talking about it. Really, to be honest, it's a dying sport. It is. You hate to say it, but it is a dying sport from what it was to what it's becoming. Just with the new generation, it is a dying sport.
Yeah.
And like, the last thing baseball needs is to take a year off for a lockout. And then to be honest, look, I haven't looked into it and what's going on, and like, I really haven't done my research on it, because again, MLB is not my number one sport. I watch the playoffs. I keep in with the players here and there, but like, MLB has just been such a sport that like doesn't really advertise their players and doesn't really advertise the league as much. It's sort of hard to get into when you're not when you don't play the sport. Like nobody like look at Mike Trout. The dude's probably one of the greatest baseball players of all time, and like no one like talks.
No one talks about him.
Advertised. He's not like, you know what I mean. It's like
you have Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout on the same team, and I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about him, either of them ever, in like a daily life
Look at
conversation.
the Padres, Fernando Tatis and Manny Machado. Like, how often you hear about that duo, the shortstop and third base duo, right there? Like, you never hear about that, and it's like. And I don't blame. Like, I'm not. I just, in my opinion, I couldn't agree with you more about the point that the baseball does not need a lockout.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about Aaron Rodgers' hair more than we talk about the MLB. I mean,
exactly. It's like, I mean, hearing his fucking name. All right.
My bad.
You got another knot for us, Joseph. Any more?
No, that's all my knots for the week. I think we can move into some more stories here. You got any big stories that you want to talk about?
You know what? I want to jump right into one thing here. NFL season's over. What a great NFL season, by the way.
Absolutely.
Really such a bounce back year off of COVID. Obviously, there were some things, a lot of controversy, a lot of highlights, but overall, I thought it was a great year. I'm happy with how it ended. It was basically it was a win-win Super Bowl. The whole America was happy with that Super Bowl. We were happy with whether the Bengals won, Rams lost, whoever. Whatever. It was such a great Super Bowl to watch, and it turned out better. I'm so happy for Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh yeah.
But now, just when you think the NFL season's over, a whole nother season starts. The off season, free agency. Free agency is going to be the big talk this year. There's plenty of 2022 free agents. There's one guy that comes to my mind that I want to ask you about.
Yeah. Which guy would that?
Dante Adams.
Oh, interesting.
Free agent. Now, Dante Adams said he wants to be the highest paid wide receiver. He's looking for a 4-year, $100 million deal. He's getting $20 million at the Rotten Packers. He wants to get at least 25. Now, there is one place I see this guy going.
Oh, okay.
And to be quite frank, it's not the Packers.
Oh, okay.
Prayers up that he's out of the NFC North, Vikings fans. I think he's going to reunite with Derek Carr in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
And I think
this is a common.
God knows they need a good receiver.
They do.
Their good wide receiver clearly is not there anymore.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
That is an unbelievable situation. I mean, what are we like? Those are one of those situations you look at it and it's like, what are we doing, dude?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
No,
anyway,
I mean, Las Vegas is a tough spot to have a team, and
hey, Joseph, you know what I said? You know what my exact words were when Las Vegas moved there? I said, could you imagine a bunch of 22 to 30-year-old young millionaires in Las Vegas?
For the first time you have money in Las Vegas? I mean, that's,
That was my first thought. I was like, they go there in the off season to go to clubs and party and do what they got to do. But if they don't even need to go anywhere, they're there in season.
Yeah.
And within 2 years, someone died. So that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But
I really respect Derek Carr for what he was able to do this year. I thought they could have,
bro.
thought they should have kept the coach, Rich Bisaccia, I believe. That's his name. Not sure if that's how you pronounce it. I felt like they should have kept him just because of what they've done. But, dude, you're right. I mean, Dante Adams coming to that team, he's talked about how he wants to play with Derek Carr again. They played with each other in college. I mean, that would be an exciting duo, especially in Las Vegas. I think Davante Adams is definitely mature enough to handle the Las Vegas environment, obviously.
Oh, more than mature. I love Dante Adams, bro. I saw this guy. You know what is a great show of character? When you knock someone over on the sidelines and you pick them up after, whether it's a coach, reporter, whatever. And I saw that guy do that. Big show of character. I love Dante Adams. He could for sure not drive 150 miles per hour and kill someone, no doubt. No doubt in my mind.
Not the Henry Ruggs. I think the only thing is if Aaron Rodgers does leave. I mean, I think that kind of plays into it. I have the opinion of that if Aaron Rodgers stays, that Davante Adams is going to want to stay too. If they can figure out the cap, that's going to be a mess to figure out all that cap space, regardless of the $55 million that Rodgers wants.
Oh. And you want to talk about a cap space mess. Have you seen the Bucks situation they got going? Talk about getting boned, bro. They are I'm going to be really interested to see what they do offseason, fix that. But regardless, you got a recap of the week for us. That was my first one. Give me another story for me, Joseph. Oh, just for everybody knows, this is our next segment, recap of the week. Basically, we're just going to bounce stories out back and forth, discuss about the recap of all the stories of the week and, first pod, so possibly stories even more in the past. Bear with us here. We're moving on just like
we're learning as we do this. We're
learning as we go. It's our first one. We're learning just like you guys are. Give us a break. So, Joseph, what do you got?
So, this week came out, and we talk about football, but there's obviously guys who are talking about it on the radio and the TV. Troy Aikman is expected to leave Fox. He obviously does Fox right now. He's expected to leave for ESPN Monday Night Football. $90 million. $90 million. Right now, Steve Levy, Brian Griese, Louis Riddick do it. I'm not a huge fan of that duo. I just think it's just meh. That's how I would describe it. And with Al Michaels going to Amazon, it was expected that it's possible that Troy Aikman could go to Amazon for Thursday Night Football with Al Michaels. But now that Aikman's going to ESPN, I'm just interested to see how this all plays out. Because now Joe Buck he's got no partner. Al Michaels doesn't have a partner, so I don't know who's going to fill those spots. You were talking earlier, before the show, you were talking about a guy that, could come to broadcasting. Little Tom
So
Brady?
I read a tweet from Adam Schefter right before we hopped on here. He posted it about 20 hours ago saying that as of right now, there are no open contestants, and there is a spot to be filled, and the two contestants they're looking at are Sean Payton and Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing. Sean Payton's a football coach, a phenomenal football coach.
Yes.
That's it. I can't imagine
I can't see
his personality. Because here's the deal with Monday Night Football, being a sports broadcaster and announcer is such a big thing because that's why one of my knots I wanted to put on there was a Super Bowl and Super Bowl parties. Because when you watch the NFL game and you're listening to those broadcasters, it changes the game. It's a whole different game when listening to Joe Buck's beautiful voice. Any of their voices illustrating the game, talking about fun, stupid facts about players, that's what gets me interested. But when you're at Super Bowl parties and there's 300 people there and you just can't hear the TV and it's just a show. And more importantly, did you see I was watching this podcast and I was hearing the prices of the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen them?
Yeah. Insane.
$7,000 for the highest level seats.
Yeah.
It's fucking gross, bro. It's so gross. That is, and then more importantly, $700 a park. If I wanted to drive there, and you know what? Here's the thing. There are some poor bastards in Cincinnati who have just been nothing but Bengals fans their whole lives. And they're going to go to that Super Bowl no matter what. And they're going to save up all their money. and their whole year's salary, probably 2 years' salary, is going down the drain because they're going to get scarfed from the prices. And it's like the NFL. It's basically the NFL saying, I make so much money, but I just want to make more. It's gross. I'm done with it. It's just gross. But anyway, yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it's just I don't see Sean Payton, but Tom Brady though.
Tom Brady, I would watch that. I would watch with the volume up.
What do you think of the Manning cast? Huh? What do you? You a Manning cast guy?
I'm not a huge Manning cast fan, just because I don't like to. I like to actually watch the game. I don't like to see the stuff on the side. But I would rather listen to them than the Monday Night Football guys. So this year I did both. I'm not a huge ESPN Monday Night Football guy in general. I just think I just feel like it's less engaging to me. I'm a big Sunday Night Football guy and regular Sunday. I watched some of the Manning cast. I like having the guests on there. I think that's a really cool idea because it gets people who maybe wouldn't tune in to tune in. But ESPN's got now a monopoly on that market where it's like you either watch the game here or you watch the game here. Either way, we're making the money. So I think it was a really smart decision on their part. The Manning, they're so funny. Like I did not expect them to be actually funny, and I feel like they have a little bit of personality.
Eli's kind of just there. He kind of just like sits there and he's like, "Oh yeah, Peyton, like yeah, you're right, bro. Like yeah." He kind of just like goes to the flow. And Peyton tries to take over a little too much sometimes, but I swear that guy gets humbled every Manning cast. That Joe Buck one where he went on there and said that about the Super Bowl of the Seahawks and Broncos when he asked. Did you hear? You remember that one?
I did not watch this one. I think I heard about it though.
Yeah, no. Peyton Manning said, "Have you ever thought about like having guests on like we do when there's like a blowout like this?" And then he goes, "The last time I thought about that was in the Super Bowl when you guys were playing the Seahawks." And like stuff like that, and it's just like you sit there and it's just like that is so funny that he just said that, and like I couldn't agree more. And you know what? That's phenomenal pick. So another thing I want to talk about, they're going into NFL free agency a little bit more. So Odell and Von Miller, both free agents this offseason. My question to you is, I sort of have my answer. If you are the Los Angeles Rams, are you running it back? Because you got Aaron Donald. It doesn't look like he's retiring.
No, I don't think he retires.
I don't think he is either. He's probably going to look to get more money. I was assuming that's why he said that. He probably will. He deserves it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And to me, you got Sean McVay's obviously not retiring. He's coming back. He's committed to the Rams. He just committed. You sort of got to think, why wouldn't you? You did it. You got Odell's just got his surgery. He's gonna come back probably December, maybe November-ish time. Hopefully late season playoffs, you'll be able to get him on the run. Von Miller was such a great ad. Why not bring him back? You bring the team back. You got your offense set. Robert Woods is going to return.
That's what people are forgetting about. Robert Woods. I mean, that's a solid number 2 receiver, and he was not even there for that run. So
exactly. And then Cam Akers. I mean, you got to remember Cam Akers came off a 6 months Achilles injury and just kind of hopped in there.
Super Bowl. Yeah.
He had a couple fumbles. He had a couple bad plays, but it's like, dude, he just tore his Achilles and came back 6 months later. Like that is not a normal human thing to do. So I think with him off a fully healthy offseason of recovering too, he's going to be a whole different player with a whole different confidence. I don't know. If I'm the Rams, I don't see why you don't run it back. I really don't see why you don't bring Odell and Von Miller back and just say, why not go for 2? They were. I mean, I really don't see it. You got Matthew Stafford. You got Cooper Kupp. I really don't see why you don't. I don't see it. I don't.
No, I think they definitely bring him back. I think they lucked out that they still won the Super Bowl and Odell tore his ACL because he's not going to get the same market value. I mean, he was on pace to win Super Bowl MVP. He wins Super Bowl MVP. He's getting a cash load, and the Rams can't afford that. So they're lucky.
He already hit all his incentives in the playoffs, too. You see that? That's huge.
So I think he's going to be a little bit cheaper to re-sign. I think if everyone wants to come back, I mean, it's L.A. The guys want to stay in L.A. They don't really want to go to anywhere else.
Just want a Super Bowl, bro.
Yeah, I think They do their best to run everyone back. I think Whitworth will probably retire left tackle.
Dude, come on, bro. He's got to go. I mean,
he's old.
I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying he's not good.
No, he's good.
He's such a phenomenal guy. It's such one of those you just don't want to see him get hurt anymore. You want to see him be with his family. He's got the
finish
gray
on a Super
hair,
Bowl.
and he's just he's getting these surgeries. He's getting hurt so much. You're just like, dude, you're just not in the same shape. And it's like you're still a stud, but it's like you just got your Super Bowl. I think it's time.
Yeah.
I think it's time to
pull
call it
Peyton
up.
Manning and retire after a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
It's a smart move.
exactly.
I am worried. The only thing I would worry about is if he leaves, they're not going to have they have a decent depth at left tackle, but obviously it's one of the most important positions on the offense.
There are two free agent offensive tackles.
Oh.
Orlando Brown Jr., which he's already played for, which apparently he had a phenomenal season, over 75 PPF rating grade, and not only that, he sort of solidified himself as that Chiefs dominant left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
They are looking to re-sign him, but I'm saying there's him and there's that, is it Taron Armstead, or what's the guy's name? The left tackle from the Saints? Yeah, he's a free agent. Another great guy to look at. I'm just saying, to replace for Whitworth. If they're willing to go all in again.
We'll see. The cap space is going to be difficult if they want to get another free agent in there. But honestly, the cap can be messed around so much just by pushing money down the line. I think while you have Stafford playing like this, you have the run game, you have the weapons, you have the defense. You do everything you can to go back to back. I think the Bengals got very lucky in the playoffs, but the Rams were able to take what they got. They didn't always play the best. Like, I don't think you can look back at every game of the playoffs and be like, oh, they were just far and away the best team in the playoffs. But They did everything they need to do to get to the Super Bowl. They didn't have to play the Chiefs or the Bills, which they kind of lucked out. They never had to play the Packers. They kind of lucked out. But, hey, you take what you can get and they won a ring. I think you try to do that again if you can.
I don't see why not. I really don't. don't see why not. And yeah, I don't get it. What do you got for me, Jules? Give me another one.
So, I don't know if you saw this at all this week. There's a new startup football league, right? NFL rules, right? New startup football league, the USFL. Okay? This is coming back. I believe it was there in the 90s.
News to me, Joseph. News to me.
This is not a big thing. Did you ever watch the XFL 2 years ago?
Watch, no. Know of it, and know about it, yes.
Okay, so I watched a decent amount of the XFL just because I love football so much, and I watch it in the spring, and I want to watch it in the spring. So there's a new league, the USFL. There's only 8 teams. April 16th is the first game. Let me read you some of these names. The Birmingham Stallions, the Houston Gamblers, New Orleans Breakers, Tampa Bay Bandits. That's in the South Division. And then we got the Michigan Panthers, New Jersey Generals, Philadelphia Stars, and Pittsburgh Maulers. Pittsburgh Maulers in the North Division. So they just had their draft. A bunch of guys that can't make the NFL. So we'll see how that is. I don't think the last 2 times they've tried to start up leagues, they failed in 1 year. So we got another one. We got another one. I don't know if anyone's going to watch that. I will be watching it.
What is this going to be like one of those leagues where like Johnny Manziel comes back and plays quarterback?
Do you know who Shea Patterson is? You know who Shea Patterson is?
No fucking way that guy is playing.
He is the number 1 overall pick in the draft to the Michigan Panthers.
What are we doing?
And guess who Michigan Panthers also took with their last pick? Paxton Lynch makes his glorious return after being one of the biggest bums in NFL history.
I can't do this anymore. This is like, okay, it was one thing for The Rock to buy out the XFL and see what... Yeah. Did you see that the XFL is going to do like NFL different rules, test them out and stuff? I think that's cool.
I think that's cool.
That's super cool. But, I mean, what are we doing? I mean, this like... I understand you got to get more exposure and add another league. Why not? If you have the money, why not go do it? But like, come on.
It's like Fox and NBC, and they're just throwing loads of cash at them.
Get out of here, dude.
They're just gonna force it down people's throats and put it on TV, and people watch it. So that was funny this week. I didn't even pay attention to it. I just saw Shea Patterson. I was like,
that's phenomenal. That's a great story
league right there. What do you got?
I got one last story that I'm gonna sort of tie in together. All-Star break. So there's speculation everywhere about how All-Star break is now, as in the sense of, like, if we look at the dunk contests. All right. I seriously think that if you gave a bunch of 4th graders a little tyke suit and let them go dunk on it, I think I would rather watch that.
You would rather watch that.
Because it's so bad, and it's like, you got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar getting up and walking out in the middle of the dunk contest.
I'm done with this, bro.
Was like, what is going on? Like, I get it. The dunk contest is just it's all the dunks have basically been done, in my opinion. It's all been done. There's been so many cool dunks. It's so hard to make up dunks and do what you gotta do. I get it, and I'm not. But it's just like, I literally was like yawning watching this. It was so
I did not watch the dunk contest.
bad.
I actually didn't watch any of it.
You're welcome. Thank God you didn't, because it like was the worst thing ever. And like the All-Star game isn't bad. I like the Rising Stars thing, what they got going on there, the little tournament type deal. I mean, the 3-point contest was great. Kat winning it was so awesome. First center ever to do it. Awesome. That was cool. But it's just things like the dunk contest, and it's like, I guess All-Star Weekend is just sort of becoming a show. It's like the Super Bowl. It's like not really like, at this point, it's starting to not really be about the game. It's just more of a show. You see the celebrities popping out. You see and then there was NBA 75, which was cool. Seeing all the late greats come. It was cool. It was a cool weekend, but like, in my opinion, you gotta find some, because the celebrity game, I mean, dude, come on, dude. You got like MGK on there.
Oh, dude, I did see that. I do not want to watch MGK play basketball.
And actually, you know what? One more thing I want to say. Ben Simmons in the Nets.
Yep.
All I'm going to say is, when he comes back, if he plays to what he once was, and this New York mandate thing goes away so Kyrie can play full time.
I wanted to talk about that a little bit.
The league is so unbelievably fucked. I don't even like, because then you got Harden and Embiid together, which is already unstoppable. Then you got the Nets and Ben Simmons and KD and Kyrie.
If everyone
Seth
stays
Curry.
healthy, which is a big if, but yes, if everyone stays healthy.
The best ability is availability. So yes, if they can stay healthy, then for sure, no doubt. I don't see why.
Not to mention we got Giannis on a tear. I mean,
absolute tear, dude. That guy, is he ever not on a tear? Have you ever like went on the Bleacher Report app or like online and like looked at his stats and been like I've never seen like a 25-5 game. It's like it's like 40, 10, and 10 every night. I'm like, this guy is so dominant. Like, it's ridiculous. And it's a every single night thing. And it's like, how does he do it, dude? It's ridiculous.
It's going to be really fascinating.
He's worth every dollar.
It's going to be really fascinating coming down the stretch, because we got
I'd say three teams. I'm excited for those
three teams in the
playoffs.
East who are incredible. Not to mention, like I said,
Miami
we got the Bulls,
Miami Heat, and the Miami Heat. Dude, I'm telling you, that conference, those playoffs are going to be ridiculous. The Celtics, too. I don't want to sleep on the Celtics with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
They've been playing really well lately. So I think that's awesome. As far as All-Star break goes, though, I like NBA All-Star break a lot more than the Pro Bowl. Just because I feel like they actually play.
Fucking joke. I was gambling on the Pro Bowl. No, listen to this. I had somebody I was hearing about a podcast about somebody gambling on the Pro Bowl under.
Yeah.
On a no defense game. You're betting you're a sick individual for betting the Pro Bowl under.
I saw an idea. All right, here's my pitch, right? We have the NBA players play in the Pro Bowl, right? And we have the NFL players do the dunk contest. You see Myles Garrett get up there and slam one home?
You see the thing is, though, like you know what? I actually would be down for that, but the problem is, like, no one in the NFL is going to be like a 6'8" freak like doing that. You know, there are no 6'8" freaks walking around the NFL. Like, there are LeBrons, KDs, Obi Toppins. Like, there are
Toppin.
He won the dunk contest. You got to give him the respect he earned. So, I mean,
once Aaron Gordon decided not to do the dunk contest anymore, I was like, that man's just too good. Zach LaVine, that was probably the last.
That's another guy where
year.
it's like, when he's done, it's like, fuck that dude. Like, who cares?
Let's see here.
You got one more story in the.
I have one more question for you.
Here we go.
Okay, so let's say you're I don't know how much you pay attention to college basketball, but let's say you're an athletic director at a major Division I school.
Yep.
In the Big Ten. Okay.
Yep.
Your basketball team. Your basketball team goes 1-16 in the Big Ten.
Here we go.
7-21 overall. Loses to Western Illinois. Would you bring that coach back? This is his 4th year in the program. Would you bring him back?
What are his past? Well,
never made the tournament.
What's the talent on the team looking like?
They have a 5-star.
They have
lottery pick.
What's his name? Say his name. What's his
Bryce
name?
McGowan's.
Yeah, I mean that in and of itself should at least get you a couple wins in the Big Ten, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, the Big Ten has some teams.
So, for anyone wondering, I'm talking about Nebraska.
I know. I was just going to say, I'm assuming you're talking about the Nebraska coach. Now, if you look at the Big Ten this year, if I'm being honest, it's just a shit show in general. And to be quite frank, I
have
did
no
not
idea
hit
who's gonna
expectations at all. I hope Purdue wins, but that's just me. I love Jaden Ivey. I love what they got going there. I think once they can figure things out and really click, they're going to be really, 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 really hard to stop. Ohio State, I'd love to say E.G. Liddell. I love him. I love seeing them do good. Michigan's just a joke. Juwan Howard, what a fuck. Wow. And I mean, yeah, I know. I would. Back to your question, I would drop the guy. I mean, if you're in that situation, if you have a 5-star and you have Division I players, you need to be better than one.
Yeah, it's just so frustrating because, I mean, we had a game Friday, packed house, everyone excited to play Iowa. I mean, the fan base shows up and we have one win.
Guy? How was Keegan Murphy? How'd he play?
He didn't play the best. Their other guy, I forget his name. He balled out. He had like 22 and 10.
Bohanna? Jordan Bohanna?
No. What's his name? I can't remember his name. But he's like...
McCaffrey?
No.
Not one of the McCaffrey boys.
Oh, my gosh. I can't remember his name. But he played super well, and other guys played decent. I mean, we had a close game. Anyway, you rant about Aaron Rodgers, I will rant about Nebraska basketball. It is so frustrating to show up day after day to watch this team just get absolutely stomped by Northwestern. Like, it's so frustrating. We have so much money. Like, these guys, come on. You know, Kansas is paying their players to come. We have so much money in our athletic department. Why can't we pay some better players to come? Anyway, that's enough of my rant. You got any more stories that you want to talk about, or are we good?
No, I'm all good. But back to that my money thing, you got people like Caleb Williams. Like, Caleb Williams literally straight up said, I'm going to the highest bidder when he was choosing his recruiting. Like, and it was USC. It's like, this is what college basketball and football, it's what it's turning into. Yeah. It's just like a high.
It's going to be a bidding war.
Which, it literally is.
I'm interested to see how it turns out. I hope it doesn't.
I am too. I am too.
I mean, it'll be
excited.
Cool. It'll be cool.
It's going to be really cool.
But anyway, so our last segment, top 3 draft. Basically, we take a certain subject of anything. Could be sports, could be life, could be literally anything. And we each pick 3 things and try to make a better list than each other. In future episodes, we're going to take suggestions from you guys to do these segments. The first segment, though, for today's episode is we're going to be drafting sports cities. So how good is your sports city with your teams? What's the history like? How are the teams playing? What's the fan bases like? Evan, what do you got for me?
Can I get a drum roll, please, Joseph? My top 3, as no doubt I think this is going to be one of the better top 3s. And by the way, me and Joseph will be posting our top 3s, and we are going to have the fans vote and decide who has the better top 3 each and every week. And what do you think, Joseph? A little first one, the first 5, huh? First one to win 5 top 3s is the win. We will decide. What do you think, Joseph? What do you think? We got to put some wager on it for the folks. What does the loser have to do? How about the loser?
We're coming up on the spot, ladies and gentlemen. This is breaking news.
The loser has to make a TikTok of a current TikTok trend and post it on our social media.
All right.
And the winner gets to pick the TikTok.
Oh, okay.
The winner gets to pick the.
Well,
the
you're gonna enjoy doing some TikTok dances, some TikTok thirst traps because I'm winning
we'll
this,
see
no
here,
doubt.
Because I'm gonna start us off with the top 3. Coming in my 3rd overall pick.
Yep.
I have the great city of Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Yep.
You got the Eagles. You got the Flyers. You got the Sixers. You got the Phillies. I mean, the history of the Philadelphia sports city, I mean, is one of the most hard-nosed. I mean, literally, this whole city literally drove a guy off the basketball team, made it so he mentally couldn't play on the team because they just destroyed him. I would not watch a player
in Philly if on a bad team.
Bad. So
not even
bad.
on a bad team either. Like,
I know.
They made the playoffs.
Regardless, Philly at 3, great pick. Number 2, I'm going Chicago. Chicago is in at my number 2. You got MJ and the Bulls. You got the Chicago Cubs. You got the Chicago Blackhawks and their success. I mean, can you really go wrong? And then you got the Chicago Bears. I mean, can you really go wrong with the great city of Chicago and the amount of people that have been through there and just the city in general? You got the smallest sports team. It's a great
two baseball teams.
Two baseball teams. 2 of them. Phenomenal city. And my number one
Mm-hmm.
best sports city I could debate, I think. Now, some people would debate this, others, there's arguments or whatever. But I think this city historically and with success is the number one city.
What is it?
We're going with Boston at number one. We got the Celtics. We all know the success the Celtics have gotten back with Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Bill Russell. And then we got the New England Patriots. Are we kidding? The whole Tom Brady era? You can't beat that.
See, do you count the Patriots, though? Because they're not technically in Boston.
Yeah, of course. I know. New England is a huge Boston city. That is unbelievable. You got the Boston Red Sox. Are you kidding me? You can't go wrong. Fenway Park, probably the most iconic ballpark in all of baseball. All right, Fenway Park. And then Boston Bruins. All right, to be honest, who the fuck cares? But like the other cities, the other teams, that's you can't beat it. Boston is my number one sports city. Joseph, on to you with your top three.
All right, so you took some pretty good ones. You notably left off a few that I probably would have gone with. Now, a lot of people would say New York, right? But I'm strictly not going to take New York just because how bad their football team have been for my lifetime. And the Mets. How about the Mets? So I'm going to leave off New York. That might make some people mad. I can't get on board with the Giants or the Jets. I've literally never. We've seen the Giants be good twice and the Jets be good maybe once in my entire lifetime. So I'm going with my number 3. This might be a little bit of an underrated pick. Denver. Okay? Hear me out.
Yeah.
We got the Broncos. A lot of history there, right?
Okay.
Broncos, good team, right? Avalanche. Right. Only been around for 25 years. 3 championships. Nuggets. You got Jokic. I mean, Jokic himself.
I'm a Denver sports fan, Joseph. I'm a Nuggets and I'm a Broncos fan, so I'm not going to deny the pick. I mean,
and then
all right, continue.
You got the Rockies, and I've been a Rockies fan my entire life. I'm a little bit partial here, but you just gotta love the Colorado Rockies. That bat, the crack of the bat in the mile-high atmosphere, that thing flies. Anyway, Denver, that's my underrated pick, right? Number 2, my bad. I am San Francisco, okay? 49ers.
Joseph,
great
what are
history.
You doing?
Hey, you left me with some tough picks, bro. We might have to change this format so we go back and forth.
No, you'll be getting the first next time. You're right. First in the top 3.
San Francisco, 49ers, great history, right? Warriors, arguably one of the best runs from a team besides the Bulls ever.
I think they became like, if you look at their like revenue, I think like they were like a bottom 10 like revenue team before like their run, and now they're like in the top 10 like hot like most wealthy worth franchises in the world.
So I might be a little partial to recently, obviously, because that's when I've lived. But in the time I have watched sports, Warriors obviously, and they are actually in San Francisco now.
No, San Francisco. Now that I look back on it, and actually Forbes 2020 through 2021, 22 had San Francisco in their top 5. That's actually a good pick, Joseph. Now that I think about it, you got Niners. Yeah, that's a great pick. That's actually a better pick than I thought.
Even my competition admits it,
No, at first I was like, what are we? I still am a little shaky about Denver because, like, I'm pretty sure everyone there's so high they don't even know what team they're cheering for. But and again, like,
it works.
I guess when we're talking sports cities, I just don't really see Denver.
It was my underrated pick. It was my underrated pick.
All right, yeah.
Because I didn't want to pick New York. I could have gone New York. But I didn't even mention the Giants. I mean, Barry Bonds.
I know. I was gonna say that. Yeah, how fucked is it he didn't get in the Hall of Fame?
Oh,
are we gonna? I mean, that is unbelievable.
That's another argument for another day. But I think that's ridiculous. They got the Coke can in right field. I mean, that's awesome. The bay behind you, Giants. God. Number 1. I'm gonna go with this one just because the sheer amount of teams. LA. I know they don't have a great fan base for a lot of the teams. They got 2 football teams, 2 baseball teams, if you count Anaheim Angels, 2 basketball teams, and a hockey team. So, a lot of teams, a lot of at least decent teams. Dodgers have had some success lately. Lakers have had some success. We got the ugly stepchild in some of the teams. Not a lot of people talk about the Clippers, but hey, they got Kawhi. They got PG. I'm going LA just for the sheer amount of teams. I wish those fans would actually show up to games because they've got some fun teams.
That's my thing. I mean, when you're at that's what I'm talking about. When we're talking sports cities, I'm looking at it like I mean, these sports things are ride or die in the ones I thought I picked. And I'm not saying they're not in LA, but like, because LA Lakers fans are fucking crazy.
No,
LA Lakers fans are crazy. But like, if you look at like the Rams, bro, like look at the NFC Championship. Like, there are more 49ers fans than there were Rams fans in that Rams stadium. Straight up. And that's how it was all year. So it's like, but it's, it's hard when you're in LA. Like, that's such a hard city.
There's so much to do.
There's
especially
so much
with,
to do.
8 teams? Like,
Yeah, and it's just, but I do agree. Great sports city, phenomenal amount of teams. I mean, you can't go wrong with being in LA.
Yeah. One of the other snubs I was thinking about was Pittsburgh, but they don't.
All right. By the way, I want an honorable mention too. Is that your honorable mention, Pittsburgh?
My honorable mention is Pittsburgh.
Okay. All right. You see, I had a trouble with my honorable mention. I didn't really know which one I'm going to go with, or like what. And this is hard for me to even say this, but I'm going to go Miami.
Oh, okay.
No. I would go Minneapolis, but no, our team.
I should have gone Minneapolis to appease the fan base. That's what I should have
done. I was gonna, and the only reason I picked Miami, I love the Dolphins. I love what they don't really have much history, but you got Dan Marino. I guess you got studs who have played in and out of that team. The Miami Heat, I mean, with LeBron in that franchise, what are we doing here? The Marlins, they had Ken Griffey. Wait, what am I talking about the right? Is it the Miami Marlins, right?
Yes, Miami Marlins.
Yeah, I just completely blacked out there for a second. Yeah, Miami Marlins.
Yeah, I forget about them all the time. So
yeah,
talk about a bad fan base. There's like 10 people at those games.
Oh, I know, but it's just Miami is just such a good party town. When Miami Heat won, that was the place to be. Really, it just kind of comes together in the whole great state of Florida. I'm not grouping, but I'm just saying it's an honorable mention. It's an honorable mention.
Doesn't count for your list. Exactly. To give your list again, you had what? Philly, Boston, Chicago.
Yeah.
Philly, Boston, Chicago. I had San Francisco.
Well, mine, Philly, Chicago, Boston. Boston's one.
I had Denver, San Francisco, LA. Some underrated picks for me. I like to
for sure.
Maybe there's some diehard Angels fans out there listening that want to give you a vote for that one.
But hey, we'll have that up on Instagram for sure for the people to vote and let us know what they think.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, I think that is all for today. A little bit of a kind of a long episode, but first one, obviously we want to get everything out the gate. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate every single one of you. Evan, you got any parting thoughts?
No, just follow the accounts, like all the pictures we got going. Keep up with our content. We're gonna keep things going every week, and we love you guys. We appreciate you guys listening to us, and that's all I got to say.
Awesome, thank you so much. We will be back next week for episode 2. Thank you so much for listening. Peace.